Myself, Kaladar, I takes care of the Delmia COE, and no, in fact, the today's session is from the Autumn's perspective, which is again a branch of Delmia COE. So before we get into the session, I would like to give the brief introduction, a 2 minutes introduction about EDS technologies, and then we'll be moving to the session. So as a company, we started the operations in 1994, predominantly focus on the PLM solutions. So not only just on the sales side, we are also into the implementation and the technical support. So the end-to-end solutions from the PLM perspective as a company, today we have grown as a 1,500 base customers across the country. And we are the platinum partner to Dassault System, and consistently we are winning this platinum award from Dassault. And in fact, I would like to share here, we are the largest PLM partner or channel partner to Dassault Systems in India. So, and also we are the largest engineering solutions provider, I mean PLM and engineering solutions provider in India, having almost 1,500 customers database. And we have the presence in 11 offices across in India. So out of which, our corporate office is from Bangalore, and whereas we have all the sales and technical support offices across the country, like Chennai, Hyderabad, as well as the Kolkata, Ahmedabad, Delhi. So almost all major metro tier 1 and tier 2 cities, we are able to give the support quickly to the customer. The reach to the customer is ensured by having our local offices. And also, I would like to highlight, apart from the Dassault Systems strategic alliance, we also have the other solutions, other alliances with global partners, global solution providers, which is like a Visim Solutions, which is VTMAC, and then we have the human solutions, which will address the predominantly the ergonomic requirements of the it could be automotive or it could be aerospace. So we have different domains where it will address the ergonomics requirements of the customer. And also we have the quality checking tools where you may be working with a lot of CAD data, and different areas of your CAD requirements will be addressed with the quality checking tools from Transcat. So in addition to that, apart from the alliances, we also have all these products alliances. We also have the sales and support, including the marketing, and also we want to ensure the customer satisfaction level. There is a dedicated customer satisfaction audit teams, where whenever we take the call with the customer or we go to the customer, we want to ensure from the auditing team the customer satisfaction, and those informations and inputs will be shared to the customers. And then we also have our own platform, the e-learning portal, which has got not only on the software side training contents, we also have the domain-based applications training contents too. So in addition to that, the last but not least, the system integration skills. So as you know, the Dassault portfolio is huge, and other strategic alliances where we have, which needs the not just solution selling, it also needs the complete system integration skills. So as a company, we are having end-to-end solution providers to address the different needs of the industry, right from R&D to until the product launch. So this is the brief summary about EDS technologies, and I request Sanjeev to start the today's agenda and then followed by the session. So over to you, Sanjeev.
Yeah, thank you, Kaladar. So first of all, good afternoon to everyone. So my name is Sanjeev. I lead the technical team for the manufacturing portfolio in Dassault Systems. So just a brief introduction about Dassault Systems. So Dassault Systems is a scientific company. So it's we call ourselves a scientific company because we are there in almost all the industries. Whether it is right from the aerospace and the truck and mobility, and now covering the life science and then going beyond life sciences as well. So we are an innovative company. So that's why we call ourselves as a scientific company, and about 20,000 passionate people. So we are a strong or a big portfolio of an R&D and the sales units across the globe. with almost 270K enterprise customers, and again across the globe in one or the other industry. So we have 12 industry segments in 140 countries. And our strong backup is the partners. I mean, EDS being one of our platinum partners, and also India. So we have a strong base of partners who are helping us build this ecosystem. And then we are a long-term driven company with about 32% operating margin year on year. And we have been in this industry right from 1970s onward. So it's a strong going company from almost 50 years. So coming to the life science industry, I mean, we have broadly categorized all the pharmaceuticals or the biopharma or the medical devices as life science, which is the new and the coming up industry. So here we typically go into the manufacturing, and then the top 10 of the pharmaceutical companies across the globe are our customers who are using one or the other solutions, either in the lab management or in the production planning or in the manufacturing or even the R&D. And we are the leaders in the manufacturing and supply chain in this particular industry. I mean, this is a very quick introduction about DESA systems. So with this set, I just go to the next thing just to give a broad overview. I mean, because today's audience is typically from the manufacturing or the supply chain portfolio. So we call ourselves as a 3D experience company. So it is everything is a new experience or a bringing about a new experience in the solutions, and we cover the entire spectrum of the manufacturing, right from the supply chain till the operations execution, where the product goes down from the downstream. So in the supply chain, it's all about the S&OP, master planning, and detailed scheduling. So this is what will be the point of discussion in the coming slides. But however, we also help companies in running the virtual twin. Somebody wants to see the process verification or a process simulation even before the plant is built, so we can do some virtual validations. And once the plant is built, once the supply chain is ready, how do you execute, how do you track, I mean, how do you put across an execution system or an operations management, including all the aspects of the plant, whether it is warehouse, line side, maintenance, labor, production, etc. So this is the broad spectrum of the 3D experience platform or the applications in the global industrial operations from DESO systems. So coming into the life science now on the manufacturing portfolio, what is that we offer is typically the planning and scheduling process. It may be the pharmaceutical manufacturing, you may be into liquid, solids, or in the API manufacturing, or your company might also have extended wings of small medical devices or even medical devices units. So the same solution would scale up to both the things. Or it may be the new biotech manufacturing company. So we do offer the planning and scheduling process there. And finally, the need of the hour in this recent times on the COVID and other things is extending these to the QC labs, because a majority of the pharmaceutical companies, although R&D will be driving it, the QC lab, which is the proto lab, would be really having a lot of stress on how the operations in the QC lab needs to be maintained or managed. So this is the broad spectrum what we will be really looking into. What are the typical challenges for any pharma sector? As I told them, and we have been in this industry from almost 30-40 years, and then working with all the top 10 manufacturing units of the pharmaceutical industries. So maximizing the profitability and the throughput. So this will be one of the key challenges or the key objectives what the pharma industry is really looking today. Why is it a challenge today? Because of the customized healthcare. I mean, a lot of new innovative medicines or the innovative formulations are coming up, which are highly having a product mix and then smaller batches that needs to be really produced. So this may be one of the key challenges. Being smart, flexible, and responsive to the market conditions. I mean, there are a lot of fluctuations that are happening. There are a lot of competitions that are coming in. How you people will really be able to, or the how as a vendor or as a customer, the organization will map the market volatility or the unexpected events. So how agile the markets can be. On-time delivery, I mean, majority of our Indian customers who are delivering the medicines or the formulations are all uh, typically measured on the on-time delivery. So, I mean, I measure it on time, and that is the cost. Otherwise, there may be some penalties and other things that are really put into way. However, while putting that, how should I also see the regulatory pressures and then do not compromise with the quality control? So, as that not being as a bottleneck, how do I really go ahead and then have my plan better? So with that challenges, what we have seen or what is the origin of that particular challenges in today's pharmaceutical industry is typically everywhere it has the manual data entry, or it may be Excels, which is electronic formats of using the data. The decisions are static, maybe day in day out the PPC team or the planners are doing round robin, and then they are collecting the information, and then they are coming out with a plan which is not really dynamic. How do I really reschedule, etc. Time consuming. I mean, of course, when we put across all these things, the decision making takes really a lot of time. Human errors, when we are all humans, when we tend to do mistakes. So definitely the judgment is typically based on the humans. Non-collaborative, a lot of places we have to accept, I mean, the working nature of ours, I mean, the R&D, the formulations given might not be up to the mark, or it may be the production and the planning team always having a tiff that, okay, the planning adherence or the plan not being met, what is the plan versus actual, etc. And when there is changing situations, how do I assign real priorities? Maybe some material is not arriving, there are some bottleneck in the machines, some laborers, contract laborers are not in place. So how do I really prioritize my orders, or some customer is asking it on an urgent basis? So how do I really prioritize things and then still have my production up and running so that the plan is intact? So these are some of the things that what we have seen, and then let us see how the Deso Systems portfolio will help in mitigating these challenges. So it's a puzzle, it's a planning puzzle. So as I told, there are different quantities of formulations that needs to be produced. It may be different forms. I mean, the same formulation going in different forms. I mean, some may be tablets, some may be the syrups, or some maybe in the liquid formats. So how do I really do it? And then when do I do it? When should the formulations be kept? When there are certain formulations which can only be stored up to a certain time, and then after that it has to be immediately consumed. What are the resources I really take into consideration? It may be machines, equipments, vessels, or it may be tanks, containers, etc. What are the KPIs? I mean, as a business unit, there may be certain KPIs that are set that I should always have 95% efficiency in my production or the plan that I produce. So how do I really have those things? Whether there are material availabilities that are there, the shelf life of a few raw materials needs to be consumed in place, the traceability aspect as to how the things are really moving in my shop floor, and the alternative versions. I mean, many formulations or the recipes might have different formulations or the different alternative bombs. So how do I really choose the right version of the bomb and then still continue my working? And then the certified resources that needs to be used for that particular thing. So this is on the manufacturing side, which is on a very broad level. However, the similar kind of situation is also seen on the labs. I mean, how do I prioritize? There may be n number of tests that might be coming in. It may be in a proto stage, it may be in a very early stage, but the labs are the only places where the proto or the testing would typically happen. And then how do I really use those equipments? I mean, those are also for me the resources, assigning different priorities, sample lots or the sample tests or the batches. How do I really make sure that on time I'm able to give this proto result so that it goes to manufacturing or it goes back to the R&D for approval? So this is a whole complex puzzle with a lot of constraints that are involved over here. And that is where we are talking as Artems. Artems is the name of the tool or the solution what Dassault system is proposing. And then we typically work with any ERP system. I mean, ERP is the place where the demand comes in, and we are into the space of doing a capacity planning. So capacity planning in terms of midterm horizon, it may be 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months. So there may be set planning horizons what the PPC team might have. So they may be giving target dates or the acceptance or the confirmation on the orders that yet they will be able to accept these particular orders. And this may be again dependent on the lead time, maybe some materials are imported. So this typically goes from 3 months to 6 months. So this is where the master production schedule typically happens, and then the same goes out for the quality labs as well. On the other hand, it is the day in day out scheduling, which is the factory scheduling. So here it is all about how do I really manage my shift, the products or the raw materials were supposed to come, and then how do I really utilize those raw materials, assigning different priorities, and then which day what do I do. So these are the detailed level of schedule shift by shift, and then taking back the feedback from the shop floor, maybe if it is from the Excels or from any MES which may be already available, and then see that okay, how my plan versus actual is there. So it's a continuous loop where we operate this particular solution in a tactical and a short-term horizon. So what does Autumns does, or what does our planning and scheduling solution do? So it is a constraint-based modeling solution. So we have almost more than 100 constraints which are inbuilt in the tool. We are not really automating. There may be vendors who may come and then tell that, okay, sir, I will do it, and then they may open a VB or they may open some .NET and then tell, okay, we are going to write code and then we are going to automate. It is really automation, not really an optimizer that what will help in taking the decision making. So we propose an optimizer, and then this optimization engine is at two levels. One is the load leveling and the scheduling. So load leveling is typically the capacity leveling and arriving at a master plan for 3 months, 6 months, or 1 month time frame. And then scheduling is day in day out plan or the machine wise sequence that what I really propose. So here finite capacity planning, highlighting the bottleneck issues, and then synchronizing the material flow. There may be different sections, different departments. The process might not be the same. There may be packaging line, and then for the packaging line there may be the mixing line, and then from the mixing line there may be some other raw material feeder lines. So there may be different processes involved, or different section involved in this thing, or there may be blending, mixing, and other processes that are typically done in the pharmaceutical. So how do I really manage those sections or grouping of the machines to interact with one another, and then still foresee that all my orders are in place, and then I will be knowing that okay, how is that I'm going to synchronize the entire plant. So here multiple production scenarios can be simulated, and there is no count on the number of simulations or alternative plants that can be kept ready. The optimum planning is achieved with a collaborative tool. So here we are not really telling that okay, the PPC guys are the only guys who will really use it. It is all about collaborating. The plan that has been done can be published to the production supervisors. So the production supervisors will also be seeing the same plan what the PPC guys are seeing, and then they can collaboratively work. Say for example, there is a minor breakdown for half an hour or 1 hour, so the machine might not be available. It does not now really require a PPC guy to round robin and then tell that okay, you move this here, you move it there. As a production supervisor, he may just take some minor decision, and then that decision will automatically reflect back in the PPC team. So there will be collaboration, the PPC team approves, and then the production can still go ahead with some alternate machine, some alternate product. And then if there are any major changes in the plan that needs to be done, that is when the PPC team can reschedule a plan with the multiple simulations that can be done. So this is what the planning and scheduling process is digitized, or we streamline the planning and scheduling process. So it is a real-time KPI system. So the system can have real-time KPIs that can be set. I mean, the KPIs are again inbuilt. Maybe the residence time or the service rate or the efficiencies can be set in. I want to operate at 95% efficiency. So I can optimize the plan to see that, okay, where is that I'm going to meet? I mean, whether am I meeting 95% service time, or am I meeting at 90% of the service time? So here we are really removing the dependency on the person. So it may be a junior or a senior. I mean, we are not telling the senior or the junior is required. It's a combination. But once the plan goes out to the shop floor, it is all the same. I mean, the KPIs are driving the plan, and then the plan is as in sync for what the business needs to achieve. So it is a real-time KPI engine. um, Reduced lead time. I mean, you can have synchronized material flow. So as you're seeing over here, I can really see the virtual traceability link that is from the packaging to and for the fermentation, before the fermentation, the densification or the mixing or the weighing. So all the processes are interlinked for an order that needs to be completed, or for a batch or a lot that needs to be completed. So how do I really synchronize this, and when is that I'm going to finish? So if I start on Monday, then next week is when I'll be able to package it and then send it across. So I'm very clear on the due dates and the inventories that are available. So it is not a black box. We are agile decision support system. So uh, there are Gantt charts and other things. So rescheduling can be quickly done with just a drag drop, and then we can see different KPIs, how the KPIs will change, and then we can see that okay, how quick the rescheduled plan can be published. Inventory optimization. So here is where we complement the MRP process. I mean, typically any ERP, there may be MRP processes or the MRP policies, for example, the generation margin or the stock cover or the dynamic stock. So how do I really manage the stock? And then we optimize the inventory, because in the pharmaceutical industry, inventory is the direct relation to the cost. So how do I really manage this particular inventories, and then what inventory is required at what time? Any shortages and other things are typically given out as alerts, so that the required purchase recommendations can be generated, and then it can be sent to the ERP system. So we are not really into the ERP space, but we are augmenting the ERP as an APS, advanced planning and scheduling system. The other thing is KPIs. I mean, there are multiple KPIs, multiple simulations can be done, and then this can be studied. So it is a continuous improvement cycle. So we are not really standing out and then telling this is one-time plan and then it is being pushed out. So multiple simulations can be done. Tomorrow, the production team may tell the plan did not go well. So we can analyze that particular plan, and then we can also tell that where was the issue, and then how do I really come up with a new plan, and then see whether those KPIs are put in place. If that KPIs are there, what is the impact on the other KPIs, so that I'll be very clear on the plan what I'm really pushing to the shop floor. So it's a KPIs based tool. So with this said, I would just get into the demo. And in the demo, I have uh, two sections. So the first section is the manufacturing and the quality control. The quality control is just an indication that how the tool really works or gels well with the QC lab or the proto lab with the manufacturing. So here the same tool works with respect to the quality control lab, that is the lab's optimization, or to the production optimization. So one tool serving both the purposes. So this is what is the whole key USP is all about. And I'm just taking an example of the raw materials, and then I'm having a manufacturing unit. And then in the manufacturing unit, I'm probably producing some tablets and then some other pharmaceutical outputs, where there are four processes, that is mixing, densification, compression, and then finally packaging. So these are typical steps that what we see in the pharma industries, and then finally comes out is the finished product. So let us concentrate on this manufacturing segment. So I'm just wearing the hat of a production planner now, and typically I'm seeing myself as a PPC guy. And then let us see how the day in a production planner would look like. So the PPC guy would come out, and then he would have the requirements. I mean, this is typically the independent sales demand or the independent requirements of the demand. And then I will have to create a plan. There may be multiple levels of the bomb or the multiple levels of the recipes. So I will have to really go through each of that level and then do kind of a bomb explode, and then see that, okay, what are my requirements for the day, and then what are the resources that are available. One of the key criteria here is how do I really minimize the setup time or the changeover time. So I will have to minimize the setup time and the optimization that needs to be done. And the inventories, I should also check whether there are sufficient inventories. This is where I may interact with the procurement team or with the production team to see that, okay, line side, what are the inventories. And the story continues, that where there may be some unplanned events, some machine breakdown, some supplier told I will be able to give it by 4 o'clock, but he's not able to turn up. So I will have to do different what if scenarios, and then the day continues again the next day. So this is what is the way how we perceive a production planner's day would typically be running, and then he would be creating a lot of reports and other things as well. So I'm just running a small video. Please let me know once if there is any lag so that I can rerun the same. So in this video, I'll just be running how Artems looks, and then what is that is the case that we are talking about. Okay. So the first segment is, now I know that, okay, there is demand, and then I will have to really manage the demand and then do the scheduling. So how is the demand really going to come? So the demand can be imported from the ERP system, or the demand can also be imported via Excels or any other system. And then once the demand comes in, so this is how the Artems screen would look like, where it's a tool. It's not really a black box. I mean, there are different Gantt charts, and then what you're really looking here is the material chart, where it is telling I want a finished product. FP is all finished product over here, and then this may be the item ID or the item code, which may be your SAP code or the ERP code, and then the designation or the description of that. So he's telling I want a tablet, probably Duflan 300, I want a Patex 1000. So there may be different product categories or the products, the demand for each month over here. So he's telling this is the projected demand each month. This may be at a horizon of 3 months, 6 months, as I told him, and the horizon does not really matter over here. So once I have that, I mean, I can configure a number of things. So here, really, there is no requirement for a developer to configure it. I mean, a number of things can be configured by the planner himself, the way how he wants to really do the plan. And then I can see independent requirement for one item, and then I can go and then see that the netting, which really happens, that what is the stock available. Say, for example, on Duflon 900, what is the real stock available for me? Or what is the stock cover that I need to manage? I know that, okay, I need 50K units, but I will also have to produce, say, 5K units additional to maintain certain stocks, or what are the orders that are there and other things, which might already have been planned last month, and then the production might be happening. So I'm just doing a netting of this particular each and everything. So when I say that I am doing, it is not really a planner who is really doing it. It is about the tool which has already done the moment it has read the requirements. So it has done based on the netting rule that has been configured in the system. So the netting has been done. So this is the first step where the planners would do probably a Z explode or a Z plan explode in SAP or any other things, and then manually calculate in Excel. So that forecasts or the demand forecasting with respect to the stock cover and the maintainability has already been done, and then I'm very clear as to what is the demand that I'm going to work with. Sorry. Okay. So once I have this demand, so I also see who are these guys who are really giving this demand. There may be different customers, or this demand may be coming in different times. Maybe one is coming in the first week of February, the other demand is there on the second week of February. So these are depicting the start date and the due date when I really need this. I mean, on a netting level, I know the overall requirement, but I am just breaking it down and then also seeing that, okay, who are giving me this requirements, and then what is the real breakup of my inventory. And then when is that I'm seeing that the inventory might go down. There may be a specific material which may be having a longer lead time of 6 months and other things, which may be an imported material. So how typically my stock cover is going ahead, and then how should I really plan to maintain this particular stock cover. So once I have that view, I'm going and then seeing the machine Gantt chart. In the machine Gantt chart, I have logically mapped all the machines or the groupings. Say, for example, I have some mixing machines. There are two mixing machines. There is one densification machine. There is one coating machine. There are two compression machines. And then these are the group or the sections of that particular machines. And here are the operations. So I know that, okay, there were some requirements which are coming, and what are the different operations, and then a few changeovers. I mean, whatever has been there over here are changeovers. I can color map these operations as to telling that green are the operations which are in time. I mean, orange are the operations which have really crossed the due date, and then I'll not be able to commit on that particular due date, or I'll have to optimize on that due date. There may be certain markers as well. Some operation might be critical, or some operation 10% or 20% might have been completed. So I can get a contextual view just by hovering that, okay, what are these particular things on a day by day basis, whether it is semi-finished product or it is a finished product and other things. So it will also tell the lot numbers. I mean, typically in pharmaceutical industries, it's about the lot number. So it will identify that particular lot numbers as well. And then I can have different horizons. I can have different horizons of the plan that can be put in place. So once I have this, I can set certain KPIs. I have set a KPI of 97 or 95 percentage or 99 percentage as my service ratio. And then I can see that, okay, with respect to different things, how is my service ratio going to work upon? So, and I can just put across all the details over here for my planning. I mean, I can even configure these things for each of the lot or each of the work orders coming in place. Once I have that, I mean, I can also see the optimizer has optimized. I mean, I can re-optimize as well, and then see that how is my virtual traceability going. I mean, say for example, I started on Tuesday, and then this order, finally the packaging will happen only after 2 weeks. I mean, this may be a bigger order, and then I have to continuously run the line, or the time for mixing and other things might be really tough or really long. So I'll be able to only finish this order by week number 4 if I start on week number 2. So it is about giving a kind of a backward sequencing plan, telling that if you have to deliver this order by Friday of week 4, then you have to start this order typically by week 2 on Tuesday. So this is typically a planner's job, but that planner's job has been completely done by Artem. So it is completely digitizing that particular thing. And then if I move something, it is not the single individual operation, it is the chain of operation which moves. So it knows that, okay, if the mixing process is delayed, then the entire chain of other operations is also delayed. So with that, how is that the setup times or the other things might also change. So there are different colors. The different colors indicates maybe setup time changeovers based on different products or the product mix. I mean, we can have matrix that can be really stored, and then based on the matrix, say from if I change from one product line to other product line, or from one formulation to other formulation, I will have to really put in place the setup time. So here is telling from one product line to other product line, I mean, there is a setup time, and then I'm just trying to move an operation just to see that, okay, there is some setup time that has been induced over here. So so here it is all about how do I really optimize the setup time, and then see that, okay, how the work would really happen. Okay. So in case of any unexpected events, say for example, some machine has been under breakdown or other things, how do I really get the feedback? This feedback may come from MES, or somebody might call, or the collaborative user, as I told, the supervisor may tell this machine is under breakdown for 2 to 3 days. I mean, there may be some major maintenance activity. Now I want to really simulate a breakdown case, and then see that, okay, how the optimizer really works. So the optimizer is running, and what the optimizer really did is that I can optimize, Sanjeev, but however your service rate is going to come down from 95% to 86%, and then you're seeing some deep orange color operations which are telling there are delays that are induced in this particular thing, and then we can also see which are the impacted lots because of this particular delays. Sorry for that. Yeah. Okay. And I can compare the simulation results as well, telling that, okay, what are the different impacted KPIs and then different impacted work orders for me. So here is where the comparison of the simulation is going to come out, and then we can see that, okay, there are different KPIs that are impacted. So once I have that particular thing as well, I mean, I can start mitigating it. I mean, I can have different what if simulations that can be done. It may be at planner's discretion, or it may be the tool by changing certain KPIs or certain constraints. And finally, I'm coming to the raw materials. So here I'm seeing that if I publish this plan, maybe the first week itself, I may be having certain issue with one of the raw material. Okay, the RM indicates raw material over here, and then with respect to this particular plan, I may go into negative of one of the raw material in the next week. So I will have to go ahead and then probably procure this particular raw material. On the next of another 2 weeks, I may have one of the key raw material, that is the colorant, that may go out of stock. So I will have to really buy that particular thing. So this is where Autumns will help in giving out the alerts for the raw materials as per the plan. So it is a finite capacity thing. It's not really the MRP. It is finite capacity material planning, where I am really doing the material plan and then coming out with certain KPIs. So here, if I foresee that, okay, I'll not be able to really push this plan because there is no material, this is where the information might come from SAP Material Masters, or it may be from the procurement team or the production team, whoever is the right team. So I may try to re-optimize the plan, seeing that, okay, whether still I can have a different plan mitigating the raw materials that are not required, and then I can optimize the plan as per that as well, and then see that, okay, whether it is still possible for me to mitigate. Yes, I am able to mitigate, but my service ratio might still go back, and that is, I'll not be able to still meet a few due dates. So the tool is giving n number of iterations to come out with the best optimized sequence. So here is where finally the sequence for a machine comes in. I mean, maybe the densifier or the coating machines, what is the per day sequence for me, how many changeovers are there per day, and then this might typically get published into the MES systems or into the other, it may come into any Excel formats as well as it is being really used. I mean, it might have different priorities and other things set for execution. So this is what I had briefly on the technical side. And then the labs also, it is the same thing, the backlogs, the tests that needs to be really done. In the same way, the sample testing can be put across as orders, and then different resources and the raw materials that are available can be completed, and then we can anticipate any overload conditions in the lab, and then we can carry out the required planning activities. So we really automated, or we transformed the system. We are dynamic. Any changes can be completely taken. We have certified integrations with SAP and other ERP systems. So we are giving an optimizing engine. So here, as a planner, I was just working on the tool taking decisions rather than doing the computation or doing the actual Excel work or conversion work. So it was all done by the tool. Collaborative. So anybody who wants to really pitch in and then give information on the tool, that there are viewer license available, and then viewer easy interactive UI that can be really used. So I'm open for any questions before I move on to the reference. So Sanofi is one of our biggest customers. I mean, we have really been working with them across the worldwide implementation. I mean, almost 33 plants across 20 sites. Okay, and the leading time reduction, the stock reduction, and the number of batches, they have really attained it on time, both at the labs and at the manufacturing. Bayer is our other manufacturing customer, and then now they are doing the QC lab progress as well. Delpharm is another customer. So all these testimonies are available in YouTube. I mean, we would share this particular links, and then this links would really help the prospects to really see this. And in Sanofi, which is one of the biggest customers for us, so there are 1,000+ users of the Artems thing, and the challenge was high product mix, complexity, synchronization of the production and the material flows. So they wanted to automate the planning and scheduling process with respect to the priority setup times, and then simulate different scenarios and alternatives. So this is what they had come up with, and then they had their heat map put in place as to how they wanted to have, and then the different systems, I mean, SAP, Oracle, and then Prism. I mean, there were different systems which were working upon, and then Artems was complementing all of these particular systems to work, especially in the COVID time. I mean, in the Suzano plant of Sanofi, these were the biggest achievements that was done, and then we have the testimonial available in YouTube as well. I mean, anybody can just type Suzano plant, Sanofi, or Thames, and other things. I mean, definitely the entire testimony is available. Solvay, although not completely into pharmaceuticals, but they do have pharmaceutical components, and then they do provide a lot of chemicals that are really required for the pharmaceuticals, or the raw materials that are really required for the pharmaceuticals. Again, we have the biggest implementation there as well. I mean, especially in the polymers, the advanced materials, and other things, where we have the testimonial again from the supply chain excellence head as to how items started complementing with different resources, and then how it really worked for them. So these testimonies are available on YouTube and other places. So again, I mean, I'm open for any questions, but in case if there is none, then we can wind up for the day.
Okay, we do not have any more questions from our audience. So, Kaladhar sir, would you like to conclude today's session?
Yeah, Aditya, I am audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, Aditi, I think, no, I cannot see anything on the chat box. I think most of the queries is addressed. So with this, maybe if any queries, yes, you can always approach us. Our mail IDs is already shared with you. So I think Sanjeev, we can conclude the session.
Kaladhar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Sanjeev. So thank you all the participants for your time. Please let us know if any queries, and we will be in touch with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you all.